those Ghanaians who were thinking that the Chinese were helping them, they were not thinking about long term.
Yeah,
They were thinking
true.
just about short term. And I can tell you, as someone who has been in China, Africans are being maltreated in China every day, every time. We are being maltreated. So
Yeah.
no matter what we think that we want to do in favor of the Chinese, thinking that we are going to gain favor in China, we are wasting our time.
Yeah, we are wasting our time.
We are just wasting our time, you know. The Chinese, they've never even thought like, oh, we should give these people some kind of preference or kind of like, never. So I think if they are in Africa, so they should follow the law. And our African leaders also should really put strict measures in place that can safeguard our country.
Yeah.
The next point is, so like in Ghana, there are a lot of Chinese. Is that somewhere like Chinatown or a Chinese community?
For that, it's very difficult in Ghana. Ghanaians are some type of people, when it comes to those things, they don't allow.
Yeah.
Example is even in Circle, which is the main business center in Accra. There were Nigerians also selling, at least they are brothers. But then, you know, the Nigerians were doing the marketing well. They were buying their stuffs more than the Ghanaians. And the Ghanaians went on demonstration to close all the shops of the Nigerians. Because no, you can't sell more than we the citizens.
Exactly.
It shouldn't happen. And it was funny. And when they closed the shops, and imagine even our brothers who are Nigerians, they are closed, how much more you Chinese?
Exactly.
So most of the time, the Chinese are at the mining sites, but they deal with only the mines. But talking about other businesses is out.
Wow. Yeah, like this illegal mining, I believe it didn't just started yesterday.
Yeah.
It has been ongoing for a while.
Yeah.
So do you think that the previous leaders gave a blind eye to this illegal mining?
They did not. The main reason is, you know, there are people who don't have job opportunities, right? And there are some regions that the main occupation there is mining. They don't even go to school, especially in Ghana. Talking about the eastern side.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold there. So all the people engage themselves in that from infancy, their mom, their parents, when they grew up, everything. It feeds the whole family, and the leaders know this is their main source of income. So you cannot do anything about it. And you cannot just tell them to stop. What are they going to do? This is what they've done for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to let them do it. Yeah.
And what about the Chinese? I can understand if a local enjoys whatever comes from his or her piece of land, right? That is like his or her own birthright. But for a foreigner to come in and started mining illegally, should that be allowed?
It shouldn't be allowed. Then do you know the strategy they use? These excavators are built by the Chinese.
Yes.
Now, when you want to mine, you need an excavator. So the Chinese will say, okay, I'm bringing my excavator and I'm bringing a low bed. The low bed is the carrier of the excavator.
Yeah.
I'll bring a low bed and now I will employ you. You are going to dig. You will dig, wash, and I'll take the gold. I'll pay you. This is the main thing. That's the transaction. I'll bring my excavator on your land.
Yeah.
And I will employ you. Do the work. Do the hard work, and I'll sit and just look at you work. Now, when you finish, and you know the risk involved in this gold mining, there are no protective measures for this for these workers. They don't care. So they'll just put you there. You are really at risk. You know. Then there are dogs on the site. There are guns. There are guards because you don't have to steal any gold. These are Chinese nationals I'm talking about, bringing dogs and all kind of security all around just for the citizens not to get even a piece of gold.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you finish all this, then they'll take all the gold from you, and they'll pay you. Then you just have to walk home. And they die. The citizens die a lot because when the ground is dark, there are holes
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
And they don't cover the holes, because they don't go on the site. They sit somewhere.
yeah, and just ask people to go there.
Yes, and the securities are Ghanaians. They'll be just standing there. Then they'll be sitting somewhere. When you finish, you bring the gold, right? So, and they mind midnight because they are detectors.
Yeah, yeah.
And they use geographical machines to detect the land where the gold is. Sometimes you have to work midnight. You have to work in the morning, and midnight the people die a lot because sometimes when they are washing, you can just slip and fall into these holes, and when you die, they just have to cover you up.
That's all.
Work still goes on.
So, in this case, right, don't you think it's the fault of the Kenyan leadership for not being able to bring all these local miners together and form something like a cooperative, right? Because I believe in Cameroon we have some cooperatives that are local farmers. They come together, so they form rules and regulation govern what they are doing, and they can also determine how they will sell. You see, so don't you think that is the fault of the Ghanaian leadership not being able to bring these local miners together? By so doing, has given the Chinese an opportunity to kind of like use the Ghanaians for their own benefits.
Yeah, it's the fault of the leaders. I'll blame the leaders because even this kind of equipment that the Chinese are bringing, the government can buy them.
Yeah, yeah, they can.
Set up a company in these regions where there is a lot of gold and employ all the citizens over there legally.
Legally, yeah.
Right? They work and you pay them monthly. You see, but this is the situation where the government have not put in that measures in place, which make the ordinary citizen just have to bow for the Chinese.
Exactly.
Because it feels like, oh, there are no equipment. The government is not thinking about us. So when the Chinese is in with this excavator, with this low bed and all those equipment that can make the mining easy, they just go in for it. So it's the fault of the leaders. When they even set up the corporation and you don't give them equipment to work, it will not hold. There should be equipment and all those things that will make the mining easier.
Yeah.
And the citizen will feel like, oh, we can do this easy.
Exactly.
Then now the citizen can even fight the Chinese. They don't come to the site. Our government, our president have given us everything. We can do everything ourselves. But that is not the case.
Yeah, because you see, sometimes I really don't know what our governments are really thinking. Because in a sector like this, if they can bring these people together and then transform it from illegal mining to legal mining, these people can also pay taxes from the mining.
Exactly.
You see, so it is a way the government can raise some revenue that will help fund some social amenities for the whole country.
Exactly.
But our government, they are busy embezzling and stealing the money.
Yeah.
So there was a case in Kenya that was caught on video. A Chinese employer was caught flogging his Kenya employee. My question is this, right? Do we Africans give so much right and respect to the foreigners than we give ourselves?
That case is very disgusting. That's how I put it. But then I don't blame the Chinese. We are in Thailand. And before you even set up a business on your own, look at the process you go through.
There's a lot of procedures.
And a Thai have to be involved.
Yeah.
And look at even the process. Then even go to the turn of maltreating a Thai. What will happen to you?
Exactly.
You will not be deported. You will be jailed and you will pay compensation before they will send you out.
Yeah.
And before they give you the work, they will read the rules and regulations to you for you to be aware. If you go contrary to this rule, if you breach this rule, this is what will happen to you.
Exactly.
So before you even go in for a Thai employee, this is the risk involved. Now, this doesn't happen to Africa or something like Kenya, right? So if the Chinese knew that if I maltreat a Kenyan, this is what will happen to me, at the first place, he won't even try.
He won't try, yeah.
And even the process that he really passed through to even get the be an employer, I think it was much lenient. It was much easier for him. And now there comes the debt thing again. It feels like, oh, these people, we help them, we give them what they want, so we can do everything to their citizens. And this case that had happened, they will deport the Chinese, and that's the end.
That's the end of it, yeah.
Finished. And if even you don't take care, if you follow up the case, the Chinese will be left alone to just leave.
People were outraged because the Kenyan authorities were talking about deportation. But the people felt like the Chinese man deserved to be punished.
Yeah.
Not just deportation.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he is deported to China, he's a free man.
Oh.
So he should serve them in a Kenyan prison as punishment.
Yeah, an example must be set for other Chinese there to know that if we do this to a Kenyan citizen, this is what will happen.
My country, we are about 23 million people.
Yeah.
And we are owing the Chinese about 3.5 billion USD. So I don't know, how much is Ghana owing the Chinese?
Okay, currently there was an agreement between the Chinese and Ghana.
Yeah.
An agreement of $2 billion debt. Then it was in exchange for 5% bauxite.
Yeah.
The Chinese will get access to 5% bauxite, like $2 billion debt in exchange for 5% bauxite. They will have access to 5% of our bauxite.
So, do these deals, do they really favor us, the African? Can't we just sell our raw minerals to them and let them buy it, and they will use the money to pay their loan?
The problem being that they said the $2 billion that they wanted to get from the Chinese was going to use to fund railroad, bridges, and other infrastructures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you get the bauxite, it has to be processed, it has to be refined before the end product can be used for another thing. These are the equipments that the Africans and the Ghanaians don't have.
Yeah.
But then you can see that the 5% bauxite is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, this has gone on for long. They give you physical cash. They come in for the raw materials and the minerals, which can last forever. And my problem is, why can't we use our own minerals to develop our countries?
That's the question we ask ourselves every day. Every now and then we ask ourselves.
What is that?